The LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
So Caitlin Clark played golf during the week, and obviously it was a big deal. Surprisingly enough, an almost bigger deal than Unrivaled.
Here is evidence that the LPGA may be harassing the WNBA.
I talked about it in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
A media tempest was sparked by Caitlin Clark's golf performance, as LPGA posts received 7 million impressions, significantly more than they typically do.
Caitlin Clark played some golf. And what we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
While rival leagues are outperforming the WNBA at its own level, the WNBA finds it difficult to recognize its star, even mispronouncing her name. Let's find out what's real.
It's gotten to the stage now where it seems like they're just trolling the WNBA. Like, at this stage, I think they're just trolling the WNBA.
The timing and tone of the LPGA's posts make it difficult to overlook the underlying tension, so this is more than simply conjecture. Although other leagues and athletes have embraced Caitlin Clark as a rising star in women's sports due to her basketball exploits, the WNBA, where Clark is anticipated to play in the future, has been noticeably quiet. Even worse, there have been reports of missed opportunities ranging from promotional errors to outright omissions that portray the WNBA as unconcerned with their own golden ticket.
You see here, this is days later. Nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, it's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like...
Let's stand back and consider why this is important. When Caitlin Clark made an appearance at a golf event, the LPGA took advantage of her star power, and social media exploded with posts like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? That seemed as much about complimenting Clark as they were about disparaging the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is not just an athlete. She is a cultural phenomenon whose performances have attracted enormous crowds and whose personality has won her admirers from all walks of life.
And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world. And her name is Nelly Korda.
The LPGA's success with Clark isn't merely anecdotal. The statistics speak for themselves. For a league like the LPGA, which often finds it difficult to draw such large audiences, content about her golf outing garnered over 34 million impressions. This was a huge victory. They acknowledged Clark's capacity to garner attention and capitalized on it, but the question still stands. Why didn't the WNBA follow suit? This leads to a more serious problem. In contrast to the NBA, which has made athletes worldwide celebrities, the WNBA has historically had trouble marketing its players. For a player like Caitlin Clark, who is a generational talent who has the potential to change the league's future, the WNBA has frequently failed to capitalize on its stars. The league's strategy has been perplexing, ranging from misspelling her name in official documents to excluding her from advertising campaigns. They have left fans baffled with their handling of Clark. Conversely, other tennis leagues have embraced Clark's star power players with great speed. Soccer players and even Major League Baseball players have expressed their admiration for her. One of the greatest sports icons, Serena Williams, commended Clark's talent and tenacity, emphasizing how she's managing the extreme pressure of being in the spotlight. These endorsements demonstrate how much other sports value Clark. Caitlin Clark not just as an athlete, but as a brand, but the LPGA's approach feels different. It's not just as admiration, it's strategy. By aligning themselves with Clark, they've positioned themselves to benefit from her popularity. This isn't just about boosting engagement, it's about attracting a new audience. And it's working fans who might never have engaged with the LPGA are now tuning in, drawn by the allure of Caitlin Clark. For the LPGA, this is a smart move, but for the WNBA, it's a glaring failure, so why is the WNBA dropping the ball? So some argue it's a cultural issue within the league. Unlike the NBA, which thrives on individuality and star power, the WNBA has struggled to balance team dynamics with player promotion. This has created a situation where players like Caitlin Clark, who could be the face of the league, are left in the shadows. Others point to structural challenges from limited resources to a smaller marketing budget that make it harder for the WNBA to compete with leagues like the LPGA, but whatever the reason, the result is the same, a missed opportunity. Although the LPGA's praise for Clark seems pointed, almost like they're making a statement. Posts like "nothing but love for Caitlin Clark" and "who doesn't love Caitlin Clark" may seem innocent at first. They take on a different tone in the context of the WNBA's silence. It's difficult not to see this as trolling, a way to draw attention to the WNBA's flaws while promoting their own league. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's also about what she stands for in a sports landscape where leagues are fighting for women's sports relevance. This fight is even more pronounced because athletes like Caitlin Clark are unique. They can attract new fans, increase their audience, and elevate the sport as a whole. The WNBA's failure to fully embrace this opportunity is a major mistake, and fans are noticing that social media is ablaze with conversations about how other leagues are taking advantage of Clark's stardom, while the WNBA falls behind many. It's disappointing. The LPGA, a league that saw Clark's potential and didn't wait to act, is taking center stage. But the tale doesn't stop there. Caitlin Clark deserves to be honored, and the league she is destined to join should be leading the cause instead. Significant concerns over the future of women's sports are brought up by Clark's LPGA triumph. Will leagues like the WNBA continue to lose out on chances to develop, or can they take this as a lesson and adjust? For now, one thing is certain: their audience and the responses to these questions will influence how women's sports develop in the years to come. The LPGA is aware that Caitlin Clark is a celebrity, and while their admiration for her may be sincere, it also acts as a reminder of the WNBA's shortcomings, whether deliberate or not. The LPGA's actions seem like trolling, and it's effective. The WNBA has been placed on notice, and fans are eager to see how they react. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon extends beyond her media and stellar performances. Buzz has turned into a mirror reflecting how various leagues handle their stars, and while the LPGA continues to enjoy the glory of Caitlin's star power, the WNBA's silence grows louder. This dynamic raises important questions about whether the WNBA can move past this, or whether Caitlin Clark's rise will continue to benefit everyone save the league she is set to join. Let's take a closer look at how players and fans in other leagues are reacting to the Caitlin Clark story and what it tells about the larger sports landscape across all professional sports star athletes. Encourage brand loyalty and ticket sales for engagement. Consider Serena Williams in tennis or Michael Jordan in the NBA. These people are cultural icons who go beyond their sport. Caitlin Clark possesses the same potential. The distinction is in how the leagues choose to use it or not. Consider the LPGA's response to Clark, for instance. They saw her attraction right away and matched their brand with her, establishing a win-win partnership. The LPGA acquired access to Clark's enormous fan following, and she received recognition in a new sport. This is a conscious effort to expand, not only a one-time tactic. In comparison, the WNBA's audience has been hesitant despite having a player that might attract millions of viewers to their league, and their marketing tactics have been poor. This is a persistent problem with the WNBA's marketing strategy for its stars that extends beyond Clark. Despite being amazing athletes, players like Breanna Stewart and A.A. Wilson don't get the same worldwide notoriety as their male counterparts. NBA components fans have long been frustrated by the league's failure to promote its stars. Clark's worth is acknowledged by organizations other than the LPGA. Serena Williams has received open appreciation from athletes and leagues in a variety of sports, including tennis and soccer. Clark highlighting her talent and tenacity. Tennis greats like Caroline Wozniacki have even stated that they would like to play doubles with her just because of the enormous audiences she would attract. This goes beyond appreciation. It's about strategy. Other leagues view Caitlin Clark as a conduit to new audiences, and by partnering with her, they're using her notoriety to expand their own brands. This approach demonstrates a thorough understanding of the contemporary sports ecosystem. where visibility and engagement are just as important as on-field performance. It is puzzling that the WNBA is reluctant to adopt this strategy instead of leveraging Clark's rising star's accomplishments. Some fans have even conjectured that this is due to internal politics or a fear of overshadowing current stars. Regardless of the reason, the outcome is the same: a lost opportunity that other leagues are more than happy to take advantage of in the modern world, where social media significantly shapes public perception. Given the numbers, the LPGA's treatment of Caitlin Clark is a masterclass in the efficient use of digital platforms. By flooding their channels with news about Clark, they generated a wave of engagement that increased their visibility. This was a huge victory for a league like the LPGA, which usually struggles to establish popularity, with 34 million impressions across all platforms. Because of the excitement around Caitlin Clark, their posts attracted new followers in addition to their current following. The WNBA, on the other hand, has had trouble generating comparable engagement. Their social media strategy frequently appears reactive rather than proactive, missing opportunities to reach new audiences. This is a serious issue for a league looking to expand its fan base. One of the most perplexing aspects of this story is the division within the WNBA itself. While some players publicly support Caitlin Clark, others have been less enthusiastic. This divide reflects a larger problem within the league. The NBA struggles to balance individual star power with team-oriented dynamics. LeBron James and Stephen Curry, for example, are marketed as brands in their own right, which ultimately benefits the league as a whole. The WNBA has been reluctant to adopt this approach, risking alienating fans who are drawn to particular players by emphasizing team identity over individual promotion. The case of Caitlin Clark brings this tension to light. She is an obvious star due to her play style and magnetic personality, but the league's unwillingness to completely accept her points to an internal struggle about how to deal with individualism. The WNBA is a league that is still expanding, and with expansion comes uncertainty. Adopting a star like Caitlin Clark could have enormous benefits, but there are risks involved as well. This is another factor contributing to the fear of change. What if giving Clark too much credit leads to animosity among other players? What if it throws off team dynamics? These are legitimate worries, but they shouldn't take precedence over the larger picture. The WNBA really needs Caitlin Clark because of her unparalleled capacity to attract audiences and create buzz. Ignoring her is more than simply a lost chance. Let's go back to the LPGA's involvement in all of this. Their fondness for Caitlin Clark goes beyond admiration. It feels intentional, almost deliberate. Posts like, "Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark?" aren't just compliments. It's a step backward for the LPGA's trolling methods. A wider discussion about how leagues treat their players and what this means for the future of women's sports has been triggered by the subtle jabs at the NBA's poor handling of their star and its working fans. Both fans and analysts have noted the difference between the LPGA's fervor and the NBA's silence. The WNBA has been placed on notice by the LPGA's deliberate trolling, which serves as a warning that in the competitive sports scene of today, visibility matters. By not using Caitlin Clark's popularity, the WNBA runs the risk of slipping behind. What this means for the future. The Caitlin Clark saga serves as a case study for how leagues can either focus on one athlete or seize or pass up opportunities. The way the NBA handled Clark should serve as a wake-up call for the WNBA because it demonstrates what can happen when a league understands the importance of star power and takes immediate action. The league has the audience, the talent, and the potential to become a worldwide powerhouse, but in order to do this, they must adopt a new strategy that embraces individualism, makes marketing investments, and takes advantage of opportunities that raise awareness of the league. In addition to being the WNBA's future, Caitlin Clark is also the future of women's sports. The LPGA will continue to ride the wave of Caitlin Clark's popularity for years to come, and how the league responds to her ascent will influence its course. The WNBA must decide whether to change or risk becoming irrelevant. The future of the league and its position in the larger sports environment are at stake here. Although the LPGA's trolling may appear lighthearted, it conveys a serious message to the world of sports players. Encourage participation, and participation encourages growth. Leagues that acknowledge Caitlin Clark's stardom will. The ball is now in the hands of the NBA. Those who don't will be left behind. The question now is whether they will seize the opportunity or let it pass them by.